Then all of a sudden they say, but come on, we want our Californian kids to be prince and princess. It's beyond a joke. It's beyond a joke now.
Well, it's king and queen of hypocrisy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they are the arch hypocrites.
Scandals? Oh, please. The royal family has seen plenty. But what Tom Bower unleashed on live television wasn't just a scandal. It was a nuclear detonation aimed directly at Prince Harry's already fragile world. Picture it. Tom staring straight into the camera, voice steady, eyes unflinching, and dropping the kind of revelation that could erase centuries of carefully guarded royal tradition in a single breath. He didn't hedge. He didn't soften the blow. He declared that Archie, yes, Harry and Meghan's beloved firstborn, is not Harry's biological son. This wasn't some shady rumor whispered in the corners of tabloids or stirred up by anonymous palace insiders. It came from Tom Bower, one of the most fearless and unforgiving royal biographers alive. The man who has never trembled in the face of Buckingham Palace power looked into that lens and practically shouted to the world, "Enough is enough." And just like that, Harry's fragile fortress, his wife, his child, his carefully curated public image, collapsed.
And what's so awful about the Commonwealth thing is that it's vital for Britain. It's important for the 54 nations who are part of it. And they have demeaned it by saying that it's all Empire Stroke 2 and the Netflix thing.
His voice was as cold as steel, deliberate, slicing through the noise like a razor. The world has been lied to, and it's time we stop pretending. Those words didn't just make the hosts freeze. They silenced the crowd and sent shockwaves across the globe. For the audience, the question wasn't "what if" anymore. It was, had the world been duped all along? Imagine the humiliation. Prince Harry, who has dragged his family through lawsuits, Netflix documentaries, and explosive memoirs, was stripped bare in seconds. This wasn't speculation. It was a brutal blow delivered live, with no warning and no way to hide. The man who begged for privacy now stood exposed under the harshest spotlight of his life. And the worst part? The truth wasn't whispered in gossip corners. It was screamed unapologetically on air.
The accusation of racism of the royal family is racist, which he then peddled back on Harry, because he knew it was untrue. It was one of Meghan's many lies. And that is really what's so awful. And that's why Charles tried very...
That's what made it unforgettable. Tom Bower, the master of pulling skeletons out of royal closets, didn't flinch. He didn't treat it like a rumor. He dropped the claim as though it were common knowledge, as though the entire world should have already suspected. And maybe they did. Maybe whispers existed. But hearing it out loud, on television, broadcast to millions, was something else entirely.
That'll save the institution.
Well, the problem is it's had none of the pickup as the Netflix series did. What did you make of the prince and princess thing? Because it felt...
Prince Harry is not Archie's biological father, Bower declared, eyes locked on the camera. No hesitation, no sugarcoating. Not by a shred of genetic material. And those who've known it have been silenced for far too long. The audience froze. The studio went dead silent. You could almost hear the collective gasp across continents. Then the floodgates opened. Gasps, murmurs, and of course, the explosion of social media. Hashtags lit up in seconds. Theories flew. Receipts were pulled. This wasn't rumor. It was delivered as a statement of fact. And that made it all the more devastating.
Of King Charles's weakness. He should have signed the letters which prevented them taking the titles. And just in the same way that he can't decide, really, whether Harry should come to the coronation or not. I mean, clearly, as a father, he'd like him there, but...
It was calculated. It was deliberate. Tom Bower wanted the public inquiry, and he got it. For years, Harry and Meghan wrapped Archie in the shield of privacy. They weaponized it, using it as their excuse to keep him out of reach while still milking his presence for sympathy and PR. But now, that fortress has crumbled. The entire narrative, legacy, parenting, even their relevance within the monarchy, suddenly unraveled with one brutal sentence.
What about Charles is so indecisive? He can't even at the moment decide whether he should wear a uniform or not. On the coronation or breach it.
And Bower wasn't done. He stood there, bold and unshaken, unafraid of lawsuits or royal fury. He knew exactly what he was saying. Within minutes, the internet turned into an investigation unit. Every photo of Archie ever released was dissected with surgical precision. From Meghan's baby shower to Harry cradling a swaddled infant, every angle was questioned. The most cutting part? Side-by-side comparisons. Childhood photos of Harry placed next to Archie. And the differences? Unmissable.
He wants to please everybody, and yet he poses as a confrontationist. And it doesn't work. So he should have, vis-a-vis the Sussexes, cancelled the titles, and he should make absolutely clear that Harry is not welcome.
And the thing is, he would have had the public on side.
He will. And
people pointed it out without hesitation. Archie's eyes were darker, his bone structure different, his hair color and skin tone unmatched. The jawline? Nothing like Harry's. The nose? Off entirely. The royal family, with its obsession over bloodlines, was suddenly staring down the most explosive question of all. Was Archie even a Windsor? And then came the haunting realization: Meghan and Harry had always hidden Archie's face in those early years. Shadows, silhouettes, cropped shots. At the time, it felt like privacy. Now, it looks like concealment.
Because what has really annoyed me over the past couple of weeks is Harry and Meghan yet again are treating the coronation as if this is some sort of reality show, some sort of game. Oh, we've received our email invitation now, but we're not going to reveal whether we're coming or not.
One viral post captured the mood perfectly. This isn't about hate. This isn't about racism or privacy. Look at Archie. Look at Harry. Look at history. This child isn't his. Full stop. That's what cut the deepest. This wasn't gossip. This wasn't tabloid speculation. This was about authenticity, about the monarchy's very foundation. If Archie wasn't Harry's, it didn't just erase his place in the line of succession. It exposed Harry and Meghan's entire story as a carefully staged illusion.
Because they shouldn't allow them to get away with it. After all, they weren't even invited to Elton John's party yesterday at the Oscars.
Really?
So,
or the Oscar ceremony itself.
I mean, they really are, nobody is in Hollywood.
And while the internet burned, the palace stayed silent. No statement, no denial, no rebuke, nothing. In the past, Buckingham Palace would have rushed to shut down any whisper that threatened constitutional order. But this time, silence. Cold, deafening silence. And the silence spoke volumes. King Charles hasn't mentioned Archie in months. No recent photos, no grandfatherly moments, just absence. Once, Charles was painted as the doting grandfather. But that image has disappeared like it never existed. And whispers from palace corridors claim they've known, oh yes, they've known, about discrepancies in Archie's birth records for years. They just chose to bury it under layers of denial and Harry's explosive pushback. And here's the darkest twist. One insider suggested Harry himself may never have confirmed paternity. He may not even want to know. If that's true, that Harry avoided the truth on purpose, then Tom Bower's revelation wasn't just a reputational disaster. It was a personal annihilation. Think about it. Harry has lived for years under a shadow, secretly fearing whispers he never dared to confirm. And now that unspoken fear has been shouted for the entire globe to hear. For years, Harry has fought viciously with the press. He sued tabloids, he condemned paparazzi, he painted Meghan as a victim of relentless persecution. But what if all that rage wasn't just about protecting Meghan? What if it was about protecting himself from a secret too dark to face? Sources close to the couple say Harry's paranoia skyrocketed after Archie's birth. Suddenly, everything had to be controlled. Who could take pictures? What angles were allowed? How the baby was referenced in press releases. It wasn't just about privacy anymore. It looked like desperation, manipulation, fear. According to a palace staffer, Harry wasn't shielding his son. He was shielding the truth. Archie's christening, closed doors, photos, restricted, interaction with senior royals, denied. And whenever whispers online compared Archie's looks to Harry's, rage. Explosive rage. Not the reaction of a calm, protective father, but the reaction of a man terrified of discovery. And now, that one truth, the one Harry has hidden behind lawsuits, anger, and secrecy, has been ripped into daylight. Meghan? Oh, insiders claim she went on the defensive, snapping back aggressively, determined to fight the narrative. But Harry? He crumbled. One neighbor in Montecito swears the Sussex household went into full lockdown after the broadcast. Security tightened, doors closed, phones ignored, and Harry? Nowhere to be seen. Whispers say Harry smashed his phone in pure fury. He refused food for nearly 2 days. Jogging routes that once saw him daily? Abandoned. His anger turned on everyone. Bower, the press, the palace, and yes, even Meghan. Because if this bombshell is true, Harry isn't just humiliated. He's stripped of everything. He's already lost his mother, his royal role, his reputation, and now, maybe even his son. At this point, it stopped being about reputation or perception. This was about Harry's very identity. Could the child he introduced to the world as his beloved firstborn truly not share a drop of his blood? Imagine that horror. The pain of realizing the one anchor in your chaotic life, the one thing no one could strip away, may never have been yours to begin with. And let's not forget, the secrecy around Archie's birth was suspicious from day one. Unlike other royal births, where transparency was paramount, medical teams, records, ceremonial traditions, Archie's arrival was murky, wrapped in shadows. Photographers denied. Birth certificates partially redacted, appearances carefully rehearsed. At the time, people chalked it up to Harry and Meghan's obsession with privacy. But now it all looks like a cover-up. There were whispers, quiet ones, that a DNA test was suggested, maybe even scheduled, but it never happened. And why? Because Harry resisted. A senior royal aide recalls tense conversations. Harry didn't want to go down that road. Why? Because deep down, he feared the answer. Speculation says Harry wasn't ready to face the possibility of betrayal. Maybe he chose ignorance. Maybe he chose to believe love was enough. But silence has consequences. And in choosing denial, Harry may have dragged the entire monarchy into a lie. And that's exactly how the royal institution views it. Not as a private family drama, but as a dangerous deception. They say Harry was warned. They say he ignored those warnings. And now his silence has tainted the monarchy's legitimacy. Archie's title, his citizenship, his place in history, all of it suddenly called into question. And here's the kicker. Bauer's live television reveal wasn't random. Oh no, it was the calculated opening shot of his next big expose. Publishing insiders confirm his upcoming book features an entire chapter titled The Archie Deception. Months of quiet digging, silent research, interviews behind closed doors, all leading up to this detonation. The fallout has been catastrophic. Across the globe, people are demanding answers. Commentators are calling it the royal earthquake of the decade. And yet, Buckingham Palace still remains silent, watching, waiting, perhaps letting the Sussexes burn without lifting a royal finger. For Harry, this is hell. His reputation was already shredded by Spare, by Netflix, by endless attacks on his family. But this is different. This is personal. This isn't about petty royal feuds or media wars. This is about his very bloodline. And for Meghan, the whispers are ruthless. Questions about her motives, about what she knew, about whether she built her fairy tale marriage on a lie so big it could shatter the crown itself. For the world, it's a spectacle. For Harry, it's a nightmare. And unless he steps forward with undeniable proof, DNA, documents, something, the silence will only confirm what Tom Bower boldly declared, that Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor may not be Harry's son at all. And that right there is how Tom Bower turned one live TV moment into the biggest royal scandal in decades.